John, I'm going to tell you, we've got several clients that are under investigation. And I've got 2 clients right now where the investigation was started over 14 months ago, and it's still an open investigation. So how long does a CID or an NCIS investigation take?
That's a great question, Will. The client should be prepared for these investigations to take a long time. I don't know if you've ever seen a CID investigation for sexual assault, for instance, take any shorter than 6 months.
I have never seen an abusive sexual contact or a sexual assault investigation be less than 4 months. And those are the ones where someone's just alleged to have maybe touched someone on the buttocks. But in terms of an actual, non-consensual sexual conduct or sexual act, they're always over 6 months.
Easily. So the client should be prepared for that. And there's a number of things the client can do in order to help themselves during this period. One of the first things they can do is just stay calm. Stay calm, maintain your normal routine of being a good soldier, stay healthy and fit, and rely on your attorney as much as possible.
Right. And I think in these investigations, investigations go one of 2 ways, right? You have a client that comes in who is, I'm absolutely innocent, this is all made up. You got a client comes in and goes, there was something there, but it was consensual, or that's not what the way the government thinks has happened is not the way it happened. And then of course, there's the third, yeah, they got me, right? So those are the 3 areas or the 3 things. We need to know that, because how we assist you in the investigation depends on, hey, never happened, something happened, but they got it wrong, they got it right? Because we're going to represent you the best way possible, but we got to know which one of those 3 wickets to put you in to do the investigation.
That's exactly right, Will. One of the analogies I tell every client is, would you go into a doctor with pain in your knee and tell the doctor that the pain is actually in your shoulder, but then expect the doctor to fix the pain in your knee? No, you wouldn't. The same thing with your attorney. Trust in us, we have absolute confidentiality with you, and we understand we don't place any kind of judgment on anything you've done. Okay, we are here to assist you through everything, lockstep, the entirety, throughout the entire investigation.
Right, and so when you're pending an investigation, it's critical to get a lawyer with experience in the area that you're under investigation, and then it's critical to be honest with that lawyer so they can help you with the investigation, to do the counter investigation or the independent defense investigation, which the first thing I'm going to tell a client who's coming to me is, you don't do anything, right? You let us do everything, because you could face charges of obstruction. But let's preserve all the evidence. And I got to know the story to know what the evidence can be, preserve that evidence. And, that could be sending out a preservation request to Google or to Yahoo or to Facebook. You could be asking CID to go get, video cameras or CCTV or photographs, anything where we want to preserve the evidence. And then our client, we have access to our client. He needs to preserve that evidence, whether it's on a computer, on a phone, on a tablet, in a cloud. It has to be preserved.
While we are doing everything for the client, that doesn't mean the client doesn't have work. We often assign the client homework. The client has the most access to all the information for the entirety of the situation. The client understands all the various witnesses involved, the social dynamics of the situation, who is who and what is what.
Right.
The client understands the command atmosphere better than we ever will. So we rely on the client in a big way to help us understand how to best help him or her.
Right, and it's essential that if you're facing an investigation, don't think that you're going to go in there and clean up your social media or clean up your phone or clean up your computer, because if you delete anything, you're going to face charges of obstruction of justice.
Not only that, you could be deleting things that could be helpful for us. You never know what tiny little piece of nugget of information or evidence could be really helpful to your case.
Absolutely, and we've got to find that out. And it's important for us to know so that we can direct the investigation. What else should a soldier do? They get the lawyer, they work with the lawyer to preserve the evidence, They develop the counter narrative. They start the counter investigation. What else should they do?
The client should take care of themselves. Okay? The client should take care of themselves mentally and physically. You have to maintain a positive outcome throughout this process. It's a long process, and it involves a lot of weight on the shoulders of our clients. So they have to stay healthy. That means working out, if that's your thing to do, finding things that help you relieve the stress, whatever those may be, relying on us sometimes to talk you through some of those dark moments when you're having doubt and those dismal days, talking to family, friends, but also being careful not to talk about the case.
Right. And I would caution folks from maybe drinking too much during this period of time. Do healthy things to relieve stress. In a joking manner, back when I was a kid, there used to be a show called Beretta, right? It was an old cop show, and he had a little toucan or something, not a toucan, but a little bird on his shoulder. And it kind of had this catchphrase that says, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Well, I have something that's very similar, and it's like, look, you can beat the rat, but you're not going to beat the ride. This process is going to be tortuous, it's going to be long, and it's going to be painful. And you've got to be in the right frame of mind, the right resiliency. I mean, you're a soldier, for goodness sakes. You need to step up.
This is a fight.
And you need to fight. This is time for you to shine.
And we're in that foxhole with you. This is going to be a fight. If the investigation does take too long, and for no good reason, there are steps that we can do to file complaints and really get more actively and aggressively involved in pushing the investigation to reach some sort of resolution. Because many of our clients, as you've heard, Will, I'm sure, they just want it to be over sometimes, regardless of the outcome. But you gotta stay in the fight. You can't give up and put your head down.
Right, and you can't rush to failure. Right? You gotta let the process take its course. And you gotta be prepared for any outcome, right? You could get a negative outcome. You can get a positive outcome. If we get served that terrible outcome, we then have things that we can do after that, right? Know that we're here for the long term and to help. I think the most important piece is take care of yourself, good communications with your lawyer, be in for the long fight, and do what you can to help your lawyers prepare your case.
Absolutely, Will.
We are the law office of Will M. Helixon. We're here to help you during investigations and to help you make it through the long fight. You defend the nation, we defend you.